first coach I'd like to introduce is a spectacular coach and a spectacular human being. Entering her 15th season at Michigan State University. This year, she will reach her 300th win at Michigan State and her 500th career win. Welcome to the podium, head basketball coach at Michigan State University, Suzy Merchant.
No, nothing. He just gave me 2 spectaculars. That should be something, right? No, welcome. I'm excited to be here. Thank you all for being part of this amazing 2-day event. This is unique, outside the box, and absolutely love what I see here. So one, thank you all for being here, and it's so much better than behind a screen at Zoom. So Kevin, to you and your entire team, Chris, everybody over there, this is amazing, and I love this uniqueness of it. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Michigan State. So we're very excited about this team. Of course, it's October. Every coach is undefeated, so everybody's excited about their team right now. But we were an NCAA tournament team last year. We have 84% of our scoring back. A first-team dynamic guard in Nia Clouden averaged almost 19 points a game for us last year, and she is really fun to watch. And a much more experienced group with our top 7 players back. So the Big Ten women's basketball side of things was very exciting to watch last year with 7 of us in the NCAA tournament. There's many of us in the league. When we play at home, no question it is a home court advantage. And Michigan State, we're blessed to say, is one of those, as we've always been top 10, top 15 in attendance. So we're excited to bring our fans back. I do want to thank our marketing team for all the cardboard cutouts, but they weren't very loud. And so we're really looking forward to seeing and feeling the energy in Breslin Arena. So with that, I will be happy to take any questions you may have.
Please raise your hand high so I can see you from up here, please. Oh, one in the back.
Hi, Suzy. Can you talk about what Matilda brings to the team this year, the impact she's had so far?
Sure. So he's referring to Matilda Eck on our team. And last year, another fun part of COVID and the pandemic, she is from Sweden. And we could not get her out of the country. And we tried everything we possibly could, but due to the COVID and the pandemic, we certainly couldn't get her out. We tried everything, and it was a touch and go, to be honest, to even get her here this year. She had to get her student visa from another country to come to the U.S. So on top of that being a challenge, what she brings to the team, she's a national team player for the Swedish team, and been doing that since she's been 17 years old. She's a typical European player. She can shoot it, handle it. She can be a 1, 2, 3. In our system, technically, she could even be a 4 if we needed her to be, but very dynamic, but very even keel, very experienced. So even though she's a freshman and the first time on our campus, you feel like she's a junior or senior, in terms of how she plays the game. So she's going to add so much to our team this year. No question. Thank you for your question.
Question from the back.
Suzy, right here. Steven Strimming, XL Sports, Indiana Sports Network. Suzy, you've never had a losing season at Michigan State. And talk a little bit about that, but also talk about how well you recruit guards. I mean, Haney, McCutcheon, Clouden. What makes Michigan State a place to go to if you're a point guard or a shooting guard?
Yeah, and I would add Tori Jankowska to that list as well. I mean, Ariel Powers was a 2-3 man, a little more 3 for us when she played. But It's important to have every position covered, obviously. I mean, you can't win at a high level without everybody. But I do think dynamic guard play at Michigan State, it takes you to another level. When they can create their own shot. So for us, when we go out and recruit, we have the opportunity to share with them, hey, these are the kids that have gone to the league. They've won at high levels, not only here, but certainly in the WNBA. Ariel's a world champion. Haney's a world champion. So I think what we do translates extremely well to the next level. So I think being able to share that with all of the recruits, but you're right, we've had some high motor, tough, like our guards, the ones we look for are really gritty, tough, aggressive. They don't back down. They look forward to a challenge. And I think on top of that, you have that skill piece, obviously, that goes with it. And I just think it's such a good connection. I think Tom's done a good job of that with his guard play at Michigan State as well.
Right up front.
Hi, Coach. Ryan from Greater Than the Game. After your hot start last season, what's it going to take to emulate that again?
After the hot start, is that what you said? Okay. Well, I mean, probably the experience that we have, I'm banking that will carry over certainly early in the season, especially, we're going to have some road games, and certainly we have Notre Dame at home, which is going to be a great opportunity for us to test ourselves from early in the season, I guess. But I really, I got to look to Nia Clouden. At the end of the day, leaders matter and experience matters. And she's 19 a game and a first-team all-conference player. And when she goes, we go. And so really putting the team on her back, but also with the experience we have, I expect us to do well. I think we're further ahead right now after 8 days of practice than we've been at any time, really, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Additional questions for Coach? In the back.
Have you named captains yet, or is that still an unresolved issue?
Yeah, we haven't named captains yet. In fact, last year, just due to the pandemic, we did a captain for the week, just to kind of see there's different responsibilities they had with the team that week. And I think that helped really extend some ownership to our team, and it's really developed some opportunities too, and I'm not sure exactly who that is going to be, and I haven't named that yet. I mean, I definitely believe Nia Clouden will be one of those captains for us, but in terms of what we're going to do beyond that, that's not something that we've really put a stamp on yet.
We have time for one final question. Okay. Well, Coach, good luck this season. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much. Go Green.
Suzy Merchant, as the commissioner alluded to, 3 wins away from 500 in her career. Tom Izzo sure has a whole bunch of wins in his career, and they're looking to add on to that this year. No Aaron Henry, declared for the draft. Rocket Watts no longer here. He transferred away. They are adding in new players. They also lost Dane Fife, an assistant coach who's off to Indiana. But one of their top players is Max Christie, a top 20 recruit. We're going to hear more from him now. Back to the commissioner to introduce him.
Our next head coach from Michigan State University has had an incredible career. He's entering his 27th season at Michigan State, and he's been able to lead his team to 23 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances. He's already in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Tom Izzo, welcome to the stage.
Well, there's no question for me, Indianapolis has been an incredible place, both for Final Fours and the Big Ten tournament, and this year hopefully will be no different. But it's a unique year. We're all coming off something that nobody dealt with, and I think we've kind of seen some light at the end of the tunnel. We're excited about that. I'm really excited about my team. Not many times am I looking up in the last few years 4 or 5 spots in front of me, and yet deservingly so. I think we're a little bit more unproven, and I think there's some teams in our league that are very proven. And our league, again, being in it 30-some years as an assistant on up, these last 4 or 5 years, and I think this year included, there's been some incredible teams and players in our league. And don't be alarmed. Sometimes the league is really good and you don't do as well in the NCAA tournament. Sometimes the league isn't as good, but I think still you have to be judged by the 20 games. And when you go through 20 games in our league, led by the attendance record that we've had over 40-some years, you've earned your stripes. So with my team this year, I think we're better because I think we have a couple guys that'll play the point guard position. We were trying to put round pegs in square holes last year, and that totally falls on the head coach and nobody else. But I'm excited. AJ Hogart has really improved and lost some weight, and I think is going to be a definite positive for us. And Tyson Walker, a transfer from Northeastern, who was Defensive Player of the Year and still found a way to score 17, 18 points a game, is going to be a great help there. We have some experience in Malik Hall, Joey Hauser, Marcus Bingham, guys that have been through the wars and played 20 minutes a game. Some dealt with COVID different than others. Unfortunately, we were hit in the middle of the year, and it rocked us a little bit, and maybe some confidence both in players and in coaches. But we're through that now. The guys had great spring, summer, and falls in those guys. And yet we've got a couple of freshmen that I think are going to be really, really good, led by Max Christie, who I think could be the best recruited guard since Gary Harris, who had a great career and is playing in the NBA. So I'm looking forward. We open the schedule the same as we always do. We play Kansas, third-ranked team in the country in New York, and then it just gets tougher. And then, of course, once we get to the Big Ten, I think schedules in the Big Ten are second to none. So questions, I'll answer.
Front row here.
Tom, after we went through a year with no fans in the stands last year, certainly a strange environment, how excited are you just to have that sort of Big Ten basketball atmosphere back this year around the league?
Well, since I've been in the league 37 years, it was strange. I never found a cardboard cutout that could yell at an official, so it wasn't a lot of fun for me, but I'm anxious to have those fans back. I mean, even when you go on the road, I mean, there's nothing like going to Purdue or Indiana and, the Wisconsin rivalries that we've had over the years. There's nothing like that in some of the greatest venues in the country, much less in the Big Ten. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure the fans are looking forward to that. I know the players. I think everybody's looking forward to it. I'm sure the officials are looking forward to it, to be honest.
Third row.
Tom, Mike DeCourcy from Sporting News. I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned the point guard situation and how it affected last year. So how do you decide how to deploy AJ and Tyson? Who plays? Do you play them together? How's that working out in practice?
Well, it's worked out very well, Mike. And, right now we feel we have 8, 9, 10 players deep, and we'll have to make those decisions. But unlike football, where kind of you get one quarterback and that's it. I mean, in basketball, you definitely can play 2 guys. And these guys, the way Tyson shoots it, I think can play together some too. And I think you'll see some of that, in a league that is filled with big men. And we do have some very good big men. And Bingham has really improved his strength. So he's going to need that with the number of good big men in our league. But you still usually win championships with guards. And guards have to be good. So I think you'll see them playing together some. I think we're 32 days away from our first game. And so those decisions between Tyson and AJ will be made. But they're both from the same neck of the country. out in the Philadelphia, New Jersey area, New York, and they're very good friends. So it's been seamless so far.
In the back to my left, in the green.
Hi, Tom. Sarah Tidwell from the State News. I was just wondering what you think of the new era transfer portal, how you're adapting to recruiting, and what you think these freshmen and transfers from over the year are going to bring to your team.
Well, I've been pretty vocal about the transfer rule, and the one thing I'll stick with, I'm in for anything that'll help the student athletes. But sometimes giving people things and options create problems for them. I'm more worried about what happens. I mean, it's going to work to your advantage sometime. I mean, a fourth-year guy with experience is going to be better sometimes than a first-year guy that's even a star. But I just worry about all the movement and what are they moving for, you know? When the going gets tough, are we just bolting? Are we hanging in there? There is a place and a time, and you know, where everybody thinks the coaches are worried about roster management. Hey, we get paid to make roster management decisions. I'm more worried about what does it do to the student athlete. And I think of how many guys I've had, as we've had reunions even 2 weeks ago, I think of how many guys that would have transferred if it was the modern day, and not just a few of them ended up in the NBA. And I think that's what scares me the most. And recruiting, we're still going to try to recruit the four-year guy and sprinkle it in if we have to get somebody from the portal or not. But the jury's still out on that, I think. And I have some concerns, and I think there'll be some unintended consequences, as we learned at the end of the summer, where there's still a couple hundred guys that didn't have a place to go. So I think I'm concerned about it.
We have time for 2 more questions. Let's go to the back.
Hey, good morning, Coach. This is Mike Moore with On the Move with Sports Kells. I was just wanted to ask you a little bit about the role players, the rotation in your basketball team. You mentioned how the Big Ten is definitely, have a lot of big men, a lot of powerful big men, and you always keep good guard play. So what about the rotational guys who come in and make an impact on your season?
Well, I think Jaden Akins is going to be one freshman that's going to come in and is going to make a big difference. Could be a rotational player, but I think Manny Sissoko and Julius Marble are 2 big guys that aren't maybe as big as some of the big guys in this league. But it'll be interesting. You know, last year we ended up going small at the end of the year. I played Aaron Henry at the foursome, and we beat 3 ranked teams, top 5 teams. So everybody's going to be doing some chess work. You know, you're going to have to mix and match guys, and I think the most successful teams I've had are ones that are very versatile, and you can play big, you can play small, you can play fast, you can play slow. I think in the Big Ten you got to be able to do that, because we're all going to be prejudiced to our conference, but I hate to say it. I hate to say it only because I got to face them, but the coaches in this league are phenomenal. They are phenomenal, and we just added a couple new ones that are really good too. So you're going to have to be able to make adjustments, that's for sure.
Our final question from the front corner.
Hey, Tom. Brendan Shabath from WDBM. Obviously, you've got some talented freshmen coming in, and all of them kind of do their own thing and have their own skill set. But who are you expecting to be the main benefactor on the court for you guys, and who are you expecting to get the most out of this season?
Well, I think some of the main benefactors could be Bingham, could be Hauser and Malik Hall, and maybe Max Christie, because I think we're going to be a better passing team. I think we're going to be a better running team. We've always been a good running team, and maybe without the same quarterbacking last year, we didn't do as good a job of that. And again, I'm going to reiterate 100 times, because every kid that I've had and the kids that have left, I still stay in good contact with. It's nobody's fault but the head coaches. But in saying that, I think because we're going to have guys that can penetrate and kick more and pass more, I think Hauser, Hall, Christie's, Gabe Browns are going to benefit a lot. And if we get our running game going, we'll be able to utilize our depth a little bit more. And but what's hard for all of you is I get a kick out of people picking things in magazines. Nobody even knows who everybody has. There's with the transfers, with who's going to adjust, who's going to come in, who's it going to work out for, and who's going to be a bust. I mean, those things are all going to be factors in this season as we move forward. And you look at from COVID, I think it's going to be an exciting year. I think it's going to be one where our league will stand up, and hopefully they stand up in the NCAA tournament. Because last year we too were one right in this state that had a big lead and lost to UCLA. Then we went on to a Final Four. So I'm looking forward to normalcy. I'm looking forward to fans in the stands. I'm even looking forward to having face-to-face with you guys and gals. It's kind of boring when you got to do it over Zoom. It's no fun. You can't get in any arguments. You just got to sit there and do what you do. And I'm looking forward to getting back with all of you, and I appreciate what you did last year and how you sacrificed, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all together. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Coach, for your time this morning. Good luck this season.
Appreciate it.